Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, squeeze this last battle in just before reset. Yes, just made it. And the moment of truth. Hey, Wantrans here. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Welcome to my first ever recorded Platinum Reset push. My goal of sharing this footage with you all is in hopes of opening your eyes to different strategies that you may not have thought of, help you learn from my successes or mistakes, and help you understand the thought process and logic, at least for myself, during reset. With that said, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into it. So, as you can see here, there's about 20 minutes left and it's crunch time. Mainly just trying to refresh, look for pages where there's not a whole ton of MAD, because I'm in a clan MAD, and as we know, we have immunity against each other, so we try not to attack each other during the last hour of reset. So right here, I'm planning to attack Fate, and I'm looking to utilize a combo which does not get affected by Valkyrie's passive because my units aren't resistance tuned. So I found a strategy whereby I use Kymar and Valkyrie without immunity just to increase their accuracy, and I'm able to cut in and easily nuke the team without attack up, and that way I'm not really applying any buffs to myself and I'm not risking getting my turn order messed up by Valkyrie. So a fairly quick farm here, about 20 seconds, not bad. So I attack Bayerly here next, and looks like some people are still using teams, I guess, without Warlord, possibly because they don't have it, and it's reasonable that the next best choice is Candraphon because it applies a lot of threat, especially for people who use Trunda as their nuker. So I'm bringing back Yoshi into my offense composition this week, mainly because it's a go second based team, and especially with the release of all these reaction accessories, going second is the new meta now, so it's more like a competition of who is slowest. So here I am just refreshing madly, trying to look for easy opponents, ones I wouldn't struggle with as necessarily as much. And you'll see I avoided a team there with Mountain King, mainly because I use Trunda as a nuker, and I try to avoid those weak hits, and if I weak hit on Mountain King, it could be very troublesome, so I don't want to take the risk. This team, very basic. You'll see that I'm using a lot of Siphi Kymar, Madame and Trunda. And again, back to the Yoshi composition. Fairly fast farm there as well. Now this is a faster based speed team, but I'm confident I can outspeed them, so I just go ahead with my standard Siphi and then Kymar speed tune to Siphi with a very slow high accuracy Madame and a very slow Savage, very offensively built Trunda, and that allows me to sleep the opponent and allow them to waste their turn, and that way reaction accessories wouldn't proc on me when I get my chance to nuke. So that's been serving me really well throughout this reset. Lots of Torments on the defensive teams, mainly because they always revive and they put that freeze on them, which causes them to mitigate more damage, and it's overall just a good stall if it doesn't fail to actually cause a win. So yeah, you'll basically see I'm using this Siphi Kymar Madame Trunda team quite often during this reset. I highly recommend making a team such as this because it's a hard counter to any touring teams, but I guess a lot of this relies on your ability to have a CP that is fast, and if you build a CP that's fast, generally speaking, it wouldn't be the most ideal build for your defense unless you had 2 CPs that you can utilize, but as we know, a lot of us aren't as fortunate to have 2 CPs, of course. So this team actually ends up taking a little bit longer than usual, simply because I think sleep was missed on one of the units. I think it was a Duchess there, and it kind of just threw everything off a little bit. But I mean, for 45 seconds and a guaranteed win, you really can't go wrong. And it also seems that a lot of people are running rather slower Duchesses, and it's allowing my CP to actually lap them after the nuke, and I'm able to actually sleep them before they get a chance to revive, and that's actually speeding up my offense a little bit more. So I'm not sure if it's because a lot of people aren't running timely intervention anymore on their Duchess, or if they're just overall a little bit too slow of a build because of this reaction meta, and forcing people, or maybe not forcing people, but enticing people to build their defense champions as low as possible. Again, 17-second farm, very fast. Very pleased with that. And you'll notice I hesitate a little bit against this team because I see Gurgo, and I know a lot of people run Gurgo and Swift Parry. So even though I'm using a Kymar team most of the time, if Swift Parry actually procs on Gurgo, there's a high chance that Gurgo will actually cut in and free strip my entire team, and things can go wrong from there. So I made the conscious decision to bring Warlord in rather than Madame, simply because they didn't have a Duchess on that team and it was rather fragile, and I was able to nuke him and lock him out successfully so that even if Swift Parry did proc on that Gurgo, that it would not be a threat. And again, you'll see I do a lot of rinse and repeat, attacking the same teams. I mean, as the saying goes, what's not broken, you don't fix it, right? So, just a lot of attacking the same team that I know I can guarantee myself fast victories. And that's essentially what I was doing. And I see Fate here again. Fate, if you're watching this, I apologize for spamming you, but as we know, there's a lot of top mad players now in Arena, and because we can't really attack each other, it really limits the choices that I have. So, again, I apologize, and same goes to all these Tau members. I know I used to be a loyal Tau member. You guys are great guys there, but I just had to find a new environment to keep myself motivated because there weren't as many friends I had left that were still playing in Tau. So hope you guys understand. And nothing personal if you see that I'm attacking you a lot, it's just that you guys are easy targets for me. So if anything, it's a sign that you gotta just step up your defense game, right? Again, pages and pages of mad here. This Tau member had a defense who was very similar to Fate's, so I was able to just hop right in with my previous team already set in place, and it turned out to do really well. So part of the reason why I run actually a very slow Valkyrie and a very fast high accuracy non-immunity Kymar is because the special thing about Kymar's A3, the one that does a reset, is that he boosts all other team members' turn meters, but not his own. So that's very unique in the sense that he won't actually risk freezing himself. The only risk that he actually has is if the opponent ran like freeze teams, like freeze sets on their team, and Kymar, with the sheer chance that hits one of them and ends up freezing himself and is unable to do a reset afterwards. But a lot of people don't really actually run freeze sets anymore on their teams, so that's a risk I was willing to take. And also, similarly, I run a very slow Valkyrie, simply because I'm able to maximize a lot more accuracy on her without having to worry about immunity. And then that way I just give my Kymar a turn, I can sleep everyone, and that'll allow my Madame and my Trunda to get a chance to take their turn and nuke while the enemy team is slept and their turns skipped. So again, you'll notice I'm trying to use this Yoshi team simply because it's another go second team and it's good against the reaction meta. But you'll notice here that I get very unlucky and my Trunda dies from their Candrafon. So their Candrafon must be built really strong. And I made actually a mistake of getting pissed and wanting to retry that because I thought it was fluke. But turns out that their Hegemon is just actually quicker than me. And the thing with Hegemon is that his AI, if he manages to lap you, he will most often attack the unit with the lowest health. And in my case, unfortunately, it's a Madame. And because that Hegemon is a crowd control Hegemon and has Evil Eye, it actually causes my turn order to be messed. And here I take two very large losses, both equating to around 14 points each loss. So that was a huge kink in my push this reset, but thankfully speaking, it was early on in the push and not close to when the final minutes are running down. So there I make a mental note not to hit that team anymore, simply because I didn't have the right speed tune on my immunity Madame and my immunity Trunda to be able to go faster than their Candrafon, or also to be faster than their Hegemon. So it would be a huge risk to continue trying to attack him. And then a lot of very similar defenses. Siphi Duchess combo is very popular, especially mixed with somebody who forces immunity, such as Tormund, and of course Warlord, simply because he's one of the best arena defense units. So again, very slow Duchess. I'm able to actually sleep her, and she actually woke up there. I'm not sure if it was one of those cleansing accessories or if she had a deflection set, or maybe the poison that was on her woke her up, but it's no big deal simply because I have Kymar and I'm able to reset and clean it up. Again, sorry Revan, sorry town members, sorry for spamming you guys, but you gotta do what you gotta do, hey? Very quick 14-second farm, very pleased with that. And then I see another town member there running Mountain King and I decide to skip him simply because, like I mentioned before, I feel like it's a risk. You'll notice I do a little bit of thinking there because I see Rector Drath, and normally speaking when I see a lot of force units I tend to be wary and think twice before attacking, but in this case I'm like, heck, they don't really have any damage threat, so I figured that I'll take the risk, and that was way worth it. 11-second farm. We're running down to the last 7 minutes of reset here. I see Fate again, and I remember the exact team that I'm able to farm him with. Possibly something I need to change here in the future is that my Madame and my Trunda is actually a little bit on the quick side, and actually ends up going before his Duchess. I'm not sure if I got lucky and Duchess just never procced one of her reaction accessories. I know I attacked Fate many times and I don't believe it procced at all, so possibly it just doesn't have one. But I should have really chosen to use my immunity Madame and my immunity Trunda in this case, simply because they're a little bit slower. My speed Madame and my speed Trunda are actually around 270 speed, so it actually doesn't really help my case against the reaction meta, but it seems like it wasn't any major issue for this reset. So again, a little bit of reluctance there, just questioning whether or not I'm actually faster than an opponent. But thankfully, my Siphi is built really quick, so I'm able to safely actually cut in. Well, not cut in actually, just outright go before them and finish them off. Bunch of different teams there, a little bit undecided, but I see Fate again, and I know I can consistently farm him, so again, I take the battle on. And I swear, every single time I hit Fate, or somebody with a similar defense to his, Swift Parry procced on the Duchess every single time. I don't believe there was any opportune time that I was actually lucky and Swift Parry did not actually proc. So if you look in my later battles, especially towards the end, I believe every single Duchess battle I've taken on, that 50% Swift Parry actually ended up proccing. It is just, as you know, as toxic as that set effect is, it was especially toxic to me this reset. But thankfully I had Kymar, so it wasn't a big deal, and I was able to just tank it out, pull through, and get the victory. Again, see? Duchess, Swift Parry. But it was a slower one again, and I was able to lap him, prevent a revive from happening, and saving myself a little bit of time. Pages and pages of mad. Mad after mad after mad. I find Revon again. Similar team. Essentially, I was only running 2 or 3 offense teams this reset. Particularly, it's the Siphi, Kymar, Madame, Trunda one. And then, as you've seen, I used Yoshi a bit as well. And that aside, I also tried to use Kymar, Valkyrie, Madame, and Trunda team against those faster Warlord teams with Valkyries. Simply because I don't want my turn order to get messed up. And you notice here that Warlord, I was actually very lucky that Warlord decided to do an heal rather than to lock me out, because I think I was just below the threshold on HP for the enemy team, and I did just enough damage before, such that Warlord's AI decided to heal rather than to use the lockout skill on me. So that was very lucky on my part there, and it prevented me from being stalled out. Again, very classic teams with Duchess, Siphi, Warlord, and Tormund. A lot of just rinse and repeat. And as you can see, again, Swift Parry procs on Duchess. No surprise. Still very fast victories. Around, I would say, 20 to 30 seconds on average actually this reset for myself. So I was able to actually farm a lot of teams very quickly and efficiently. And aside from those 2 offense losses I had earlier, I believe I was able to go through the rest of reset without making any mistakes and attacking only teams that I knew I would win easily against. So here I missed defense down on Duchess. It wasn't a big deal. I just used Trunda A2 on the next highest HP unit and just let Duchess revive. A little bit slower because of that, but still around 30 seconds at most, so very respectable. And as you can see, this team here, tons and tons of HP on their units. Like, if my Trunda didn't do enough damage to that Vogoth, and the splash wasn't enough, I'd be in big trouble. But thankfully, my Trunda isn't Savage, and I just was able to stack as much stats on her as needed, simply because of the slow meta now. So my Trunda is basically running around only like 170 to 180 speed, and I'm able to focus as much offense stats as possible that my Savage gear could allow me. So that helped a ton, especially on this reset. Like, this allows me to not really have to think in regards to if the opponent's running any reaction accessories, because as it stands now, since there's been 2 clan versus clan battles that have occurred, it's safe to assume that most people in top platinum have them on their units, and I try not to leave anything up to chance, and I try to make sure that everything is as seamless and as consistent and reliable as possible. Again, very fast victory there. We're down to the last minute now, and it's very crunch time for me. I was stressing out a little bit, to be honest. I didn't know where I was actually in placement. So I was just looking for teams that I didn't have to really switch my offense team to beat. And essentially that meant using Siphi, Kymar, Madame, and Trunda, and just attacking any of these classic teams that I mentioned before as much as possible, and as repeatedly as possible. So as you can see, I'm panicking here. There's the last 30 seconds left. I find a team that's exactly the same as the one before. I run in, try to squeeze in that last battle, and I actually managed to do it here, I believe, right towards the end. And of course, as I mentioned before, Swift Parry procced non-stop on these Duchesses. I swear it was 100% for me, this reset. And I was able to just squeeze this battle in. And that was conclusion of the reset. There was just a little bit of delay after that last battle there, and I'm just waiting to collect my chest, and here I am finally collecting it, and boom, I finished first place. I was ecstatic actually when I seen that, because I did not think that I did as well as I did, and lo and behold, I managed to actually pull through and grab that first place victory for the first time ever, so I'm very happy with that. Just a quick look through my defense. It didn't seem too many people attacked me, honestly, so I think that's a good sign, and for any of those people who did attack me, it looked like they struggled a lot, so I was very pleased with that. If you made it all the way to the end here, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed. I decided I wouldn't go into specific detail over any of my offense or defense champion compositions and builds, as it would make this video too long. However, if there's enough interest, I will do separate videos outlining specific builds and combos I use, so please let me know down below in the comment section if that's what you wish. I plan to continue to upload weekly reset videos like this one, other arena-focused videos both for offense and defense combos and ideas, and unique, non-conventional PvE content that isn't overdone by all other content creators. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing, and you'll be notified when I release my next videos. With that said, I appreciate you all and your time, and until next time, Wentrans out.